Welcome to another edition of the Nightly Nuge. And Ted, you and I've talked for years about how the teachers union and the educational system is indoctrinating kids. We've seen a transformation in values from young people starting the 50s up to now. You put your finger on what they're learning in school, not just you. Now other people are following along. You saw down in Arizona, a school board member said that they should reject hiring Christians because of their Christian values. You saw U.S. senators questioning Amy Coney Barrett and other Supreme Court nominations really hard because of their faith. We've seen kids that were at one time taught the Revolutionary War and how we fought to end slavery in the Civil War, and that's all being transformed through CRT and other things that are skewing what really happened. I believe now, Ted, that what's going on in our schools now is they're kind of glorifying this transgender movement. I want to play a clip for you right now of a couple of parents who transgendered their child before the age of 10.
Our daughter is 10 years old. She started letting us know that she was transgender really before she could even speak. She would do things like wear her sister's clothes, pretend that towels were her long hair. And when she was about 3 years old, she started to withdraw and become depressed. So we started doing some research. We talked to her pediatrician.
Ted, when you watch that clip, it's heartbreaking to me. The things that they said they knew that their child wanted to transgender before they could speak. And then they've now done that with the help of the healthcare system. What's your take on all this?
Well, we've covered a lot of ground here, but obviously truth, logic, and common sense is the motivation of my everyday experiment in self-government and the quality of life that is unique to the independence and the freedom that is only found in the United States of America, even though it's being carved away and reduced by the hour. But this is a glaring example of a culture gone to hell. These parents are just pure evil. They're dangerous, and evil and dangerous parents, evil and dangerous politicos, evil and dangerous media have been elevated to be the voice of the American government, big pharma, big tech, the military, the law enforcement oftentimes. But here's a very important point. The teachers that have stood in the way of real education, where we're graduating children in America today, across America. Now, there are some good teachers out there, and I love you, and you know who all 8 of you are. I love good teachers who teach the basics. But we are graduating children in America today that can't read, that can't write, that can't add or subtract or multiply or divide, that have no respect for their elders, that have no respect for anyone else, that have no respect for themselves. When I went to school, there was a discipline. You had to be the best that you can be, because only those that did well got an A. If you didn't do the best, you got a B. If you did kind of average, you got a C. Nowadays, the teachers union have completely eviscerated the concept of higher education and excellence. And this transgender horror story, when you see, I think it was Libs of TikTok, where they had these teachers with the purple hair and the rainbow, and you can tell that they haven't even figured out personal hygiene yet. They've mismanaged their sacred gift from God, and they got the bling bling and the piercings and the tattoos on their face, teaching that there is multiple genders when everybody knows that there are 2 genders. There's the male gender and there's the female gender. And men can't get pregnant. Keith, think of the insanity of me having to mention, in a world where there's a debate that men can menstruate, that men can give birth, that women can stand up and pee in a urinal. This is beyond the planet of the apes. This is the planet of Satan. These people are destroying young people's lives, and I would like to think, I just did a benefit for our great McLennan County Sheriff, Parnell McNamara, where we don't let, perverted men dressed as female prostitutes twerk their crotchet children here anymore. We nip that in the bud, and we've sent out the word because our law enforcement here in McLennan County knows that God, family, country, Constitution, Bill of Rights, the Ten Commandments, the Golden Rule, being the best that you can be, law and order, is the guiding light for quality of life in the United States of America. So if the guitar player can be involved with those forces of law and order and goodwill and decency, then everybody out there who hasn't contacted their school board, hasn't contacted their mayor, don't know their sheriff or their chief of police or their state trooper commander and their representatives, their senator, their congressman, their alderman, their governor's office, if your family name isn't meaningful to your elected employees, thanks for nothing. These parents, they're just rotten people. They have steered their poor child down a true south compass setting in life, when a parent's moral and spiritual and American obligation is to guide, nurture, and discipline and educate their children to a true north compass setting, which is based on this experiment in self-government that was founded by the divine intervention of God, so that no kings, no tyrants, no emperors, no slave drivers can ever own us or determine our future ever again. And if you're not a voice for that truth, logic, and common sense, thanks for nothing. So we identify horrors and curses and scourges here on Nightly Nuge, but you're not just supposed to watch these horrors and these scourges and these horrible conditions. You're supposed to fight back. So let this be a battle cry. Fight back. We don't need urinals in the girls' bathroom, and men can't compete with women. And there's only men and there's only women. And if Caitlyn Jenner wants to have a mental deficiency, he can have a mental deficiency, but we don't have to make believe with him.
You know what, Ted? And people say, well, they're not brainwashed. I do believe that the propaganda that has been pushed, not only by our educational system, but you can't hardly watch TV without seeing a commercial for whether it's same sex, fill in the blank, okay? And if you don't believe it's true, look at the videos that you see coming out of the Middle Eastern countries where the small children are using AKs and chanting "Death to America" slogans. You just go back to the original Germany videos where they indoctrinated their young kids to develop what they were doing over there. Jim Jones. If you don't think it's possible, even in America, how many people drank the Kool-Aid that day and killed themselves and their children? I believe that's the same thing that's going on in our educational system. And then you get parents like this that are the product of this indoctrination. In some way, somehow, Ted, it's got to stop. Final word.
Final word is we, the people, can stop it. We need to speak up. We are in this spiritual terminal toilet flush in America because too many conservatives have been sitting out this experiment in self-government. You can't sit it out. You have to participate because Joe Biden is the perfect president for a nation that has lost its soul and abandoned our responsibility to experiment in self-government and hold our elected employees accountable to the U.S. constitutional oath. If you're not putting pressure on your elected employees, they are treading on you. And I like the term, don't tread on me. Let's do it, America. Join me at huntthevote.org and hunternation.org. A lot of people, again, they think that that's not the answer. But circling the conservative wagons and participating on every level, the school board, your mayor, again, I've said it ad nauseum, ad infinitum here, but we need to take this country back, we the people, one at a time. And if you're not putting forth that effort, again, if you're not in the asset column of making America great again, you're in the liability column of allowing America to be flushed down the toilet again. So let's get cracking, America.
On the topic of America getting flushed down the toilet, I'm seeing very disturbing news coming out of Arizona that I want to talk with you about tomorrow night. Potential bribery of the highest officials in that state from Mexican cartels, which may explain the open border policies and the drugs that pour into our country, and maybe some of the election fraud that is alleged down in Arizona. Let's talk about that tomorrow night, Ted, right here on the Nightly Nuge.
Love the Nightly Nuge.